All right. Hi, everybody. It's Andra, Annette, and Karen Walk, and we're here from Kitchen Chats. And we're not going to be long because Karen's heading to the gym. I'm going to go finish some more of that food I made. Do you know what I had for dinner? I made zucchini,
Ooh,
shallots, red onions, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, over pasta, and plant protein.
nice.
And then I sprinkled it with cheese and I put some vegetable broth in there for seasoning. Oh my God. So good, girl.
I'm coming
And
over.
listen, it was so good. My husband always says, my husband has like hypertension and stuff, and his heart disease runs in his family. So I stick all this food in. He doesn't even know he's eaten. And when he finds out, he's like, I would never think I'd like this, but he loves it. And now that's all that he eats.
Nice.
Um, so I'm doing a master class on heart this month. This actually this week. Oh my God. Thursday at 6 o'clock. So Karen and I are just going to do a little quick plug on heart disease. I was telling her that someone that I know who's very young just had a massive heart attack, and he had it at his son's baseball game, and this breaks my heart. So there's a lot of things happening. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity, coronary artery disease, all of that is
So,
very connected to nutrition and lifestyle, So,
right.
I don't know if you've been in my group, Karen. So I have a group called Ask the Nurse, and there we cover all disease processes. And I spent an entire year going through all of the diseases. And in that time, all of the outcomes, if you wanted to achieve better outcomes, were all focused on diet, lifestyle, and like exercise, your nutrition. So it was all, those were the three things that were recommended for all those diseases in healthcare. Um, so we just want to really give you that plug. Karen, I know you eat very well and you're working on your own program there, and hats off to you, because it's not it's not easy to get started, but it's necessary to get started, because every
Right.
day it gets easier. If I just told you what I ate 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you would have never heard me saying that I was eating that. I would have told you that just had a big steak with a side potato, maybe
French fries.
maybe a
Right.
little broccoli in there. And I don't eat that way anymore. I was that 300-pound girl, and stress caused a lot of that. I had a lot of disease processes. And now, 15 years later, after putting healthy lifestyles, good nutrition, and exercise into my life is totally different. So I just wanted to speak to that a little bit. And what would you like to add, my good friend?
I want to add that you're absolutely correct when it comes to diet and how it directly affects our health and how we change as you mature and age throughout the years. Because when we were younger, of course, we're not at all that old, right? But our body is aging daily. So your body's aging daily. So you do need to pay attention to what you need to do differently, right? And pivot accordingly. Because I want to say 10 years ago, I can sit and eat that pint of Haagen-Dazs, right? You go to the corner store, you get that pint of Haagen-Dazs, you sit there. By the time you finish scooping around in circles, it's done. And maybe not gain any weight. Now, if I was to do that, automatically I'm going to gain a 2 to 3 pounds. And 2 to 3 pounds makes me feel 100% different. It's ridiculous. It's like I feel it in my hips. I feel it in, my arms. So I definitely cannot do that all the time. Moderation is everything. Of course, I still eat ice cream, but not as much and not in one sitting, and I definitely try to do cardio daily. And like you said, Andra, it's hard to start. So when you stop to start back up, it's the hardest thing. It's like your GPA, right? Like it's hard to get it up, but then when it drops down low, it drops fast. So, and then it's hard to get it back to where you want it. So I want to say that consistency matters. Even if it's a small amount of time that you're going to exercise, it's consistent exercise that really makes a difference. And like Andra and I was talking, she was telling me about her friend who recently had a heart attack. And I was telling her, in my practice, I've been seeing a lot of young people with having strokes and having heart attacks below 40. So it really saddens me because along with that, I do see a medical history of obesity and diabetes, and hypertension, things that could possibly have changed their outcome. So we do want to implore you guys to pay attention to your body, love yourself, take time for yourself, walk. If you're not walking, you can do exercises in your home, maybe walking in place. You can do that. If you work from home, they now have those machines you can put under your desk where you can do steps under your desk, or stand up, a standing desk where you can walk. But definitely pay attention to yourself. If you're not doing something that's going to help you in the future to be healthier, then you do have to think about the opposite, right? If you're not helping yourself, you're harming yourself. So do
Correct.
something. And I'd say that for me because honest to God, I don't want to go to the gym after we get off this call. I could truly go sit right there on the couch, watch me some Netflix and chill until tomorrow morning. Until tomorrow morning. But I know I have to, so I'm gonna go.
I know that I won't exercise when I come home. I just won't. So I do it first thing in the morning, and I don't exercise like crazy. I've never been an exercise nut. Like I have been that walker, but I'll do like 7 minutes of HIIT exercise in the morning. I have these
Ooh,
little, yeah. I have these 10-minute tapes that get you your cardio going quickly, and that's it. And then I'll do a little free weights, but nothing crazy. I'm not trying to look all ripped and stuff. I like that feminine approach, So I'll do more reps with less weight, but it's just about doing something and getting started. And I eat my ice cream. I still eat that jar when I want to sometimes, we all have our things, our go-tos, mine are M&Ms, and I don't have ice cream a lot, but when I have it, I love my ice cream. But it's about changing what you really can control, So people that have heart disease have high salt intakes, and they're having a lot of processed foods, 5 to 10, no more than 5 to 10% of your daily food intake should come from added sugars. And if you read the back of any package, it will tell you let's say it says 4 sugars, and then it will say plus added sugars, and that'll be another 10. You know what I mean? So you expect to see that in things that are made with fruit, but things that don't have fruit, you don't want really all those sugars, So women should have under 25 grams of sugar a day.
I love it. We should show food label.
Just not to gain weight. So that could be 2 cookies or 1 cookie, one of those big cookies. So men is 35 grams. So and people aren't eating enough fiber. So we know that you and I both know that we got a lot of stats to the bathroom because people were constipated and trying to force on that stool, and that closes off your heart valve if you're sitting there straining. It's called the Masaba's movement. You remember that? So So it closes off your heart, and your heart's without oxygen. It's not a good thing. So people pass out and have a stroke on the toilet. So, we want to really get rid of those high saturated meats, things like that. Those high saturated fats, have more lean proteins, have more fruits, vegetables, beans, things like that. Whole grain carbohydrates like vegetables and stuff like that. So what?
Well, and also, like I continue to say, moderation. Like today I had salmon for lunch. Now, my desire is to have something more tonight, but because it's a little bit late in the day, I won't. I'm going to drink some water. I'll probably have some fruit, like you said, and just be very mindful that, I had enough for the day. I think a lot of times, at least for me, sometimes if I don't stop and think what I'm actually putting in my mouth or putting in my body, that I'll just, put anything, so that's what I mean when I say sometimes we do need to stop and pause and think before we eat or think before we do anything.
You should eat every 2 to 3 hours while awake. Every 2 to 3.
Because if I
You
eat
should,
something else
it's
tonight,
something
get that
small,
cookie.
anything. So no, but your metabolism, your body is an amazing machine. And I say this from the bottom of my heart because people complicate the hell out of weight loss, and they're always trying to cut calories, right? So, and what happens is they stay in that fat storing mode because their body says, you're starving me, and that's your body's way of protecting itself. I
Mm,
mean, years when you think back to cavemen, they didn't know when their next meal would be. So it just makes sense that our bodies became the best fat storing machines, and we are. And it's a fact. I did this on one of my stories that your body will actually make new fat cells to have more places to store fat. So
oh
people
yeah.
people are cutting calories and cutting calories, and calories in and calories out is a bunch of horseshit, so I can't, this is a very short segment, so I can't go into that.
Oh shit.
But if you knew what a calorie was, it has really nothing. There's no way to tell exactly what's in what you're eating. Those are just for recommendations based on a daily allowance, but a lot of times those are very inaccurate. So people are gauging their whole diet on something that is very inaccurate. Very inaccurate. So you should, like, let's say, everybody's calories, right, is based on, like, someone who's 300 pounds can't be on an 1800 calorie diet, right, because they
Right.
would starve to death. So someone who's trying to lose weight, I mean, we've both done maternity at some point of our nursing, that when they have a baby, they have to increase by 500 calories to support that new child, and when they're trying to lose that weight, they have to go back 500 calories to take it off. So something like 500 calories
Mhm.
is okay to cut, but people get very drastic. And before you start cutting calories, you have to increase those meals. So you can keep the same amounts of calories in the day and spread it out over the course of the day, and you'll lose weight
Yes.
eating the same amounts. But every couple of hours, you're giving your body food, and it stops thinking that it's in crisis mode because it's saying, oh, she loves me again. Look, she just sent me something else. So your body
Mhm.
starts to respond, and your body and your metabolism will speed up. Your
Mhm.
body will respond to whatever you tell it. It's the
Mhm.
smartest machine in the world, and people just don't get it. So
Right. Right.
they keep trying to trick the body, and the body's like, listen, I've had enough of this nonsense. I need food, and so you should eat every couple of hours while you're awake. So, and then stop eating. Like, if you're going to bed at 8 o'clock, you should stop eating at 6 o'clock. Give your body
Mhm.
that time to rest. So a
Mhm.
lot of people will talk about the fasting for 12 hours and 16 hours and stuff like that. People intermittent fast without even trying. If you're sleeping those 8 hours, you're intermittent fasting for 8 hours, and nobody eats and then goes right to bed. Most people don't do that. So you're getting eight hours in, but there's no clear evidence that intermittent fasting, people will lose more weight doing that than they would if they followed a regular healthy lifestyle diet.
I gotcha. So I just got to pay attention to when I want to sit there and eat like salmon, surf and turf, salmon, steak, and sit for like 2 hours. I go to that buffet. I should eat smaller meals throughout the day.
And take some of that home with you so you can have it again later in 2 hours. So you can have that plate. But
Gotcha.
we're used to those 12-inch plates that we've been eating off of when we get home. So try eating from a salad plate that's
Mm,
9 inches. So because you have to trick your mind, your body's used to a certain thing. So you just have
mhm.
to switch your mindset, and your mind will do that, because when you look at a plate that looks more full, your body's almost gonna respond by saying, okay, I've had enough, because you've eaten everything on the plate, right? But
Right.
when it's a 12-inch plate and it's half full, you feel like you haven't eaten enough, and
I
it's a
got.
much bigger plate. So
Yep.
it's really just the way we've been conditioned to think, and you can really change that. And that's when I started to, when I was on that weight loss journey, that's what I did. I changed the size of all of my plates.
I
And
think I'm gonna do
because,
that.
well, my mother was that person that wanted us to eat whatever was on our plate. And then I felt guilty if I didn't. So in order to get over that guilt, I said, let me work on one problem at a time. Let me focus on the weight, then we'll worry about mother's guilt.
Right.
That's what I did. And it works, you know. And I eat on the average to 6 to 8 times a day, every day.
I'm
And
gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try
I know
that.
I don't gain
But
weight. You know, a lot of it is mine too. You um tell yourself, like I said the same thing every day to myself. I'm my perfect weight at 122 pounds. I'm my perfect weight. That's what I kept telling myself. And guess how much I weigh? I'm my perfect weight at 122 pounds.
good for
So,
you.
but listen, your mind is an incredible thing. So you have to use it to your advantage. Instead of sitting inside of what's wrong, start saying what's right. That's the
Right.
switch. Hello, pretty. How are you? Listen, all of Karen's children are meant to be stars because they're always on our TV shows.
I know.
Do you want to introduce yourself and say hello?
She's not gonna say
Come on, you
hello.
got to talk. She's so cute.
Hi.
Hi, what's your name, pretty?
Hannah.
Hannah. I love that, Hannah. I have a publisher who's Hannah Olivius.
Oh, very
Olivas.
pretty. Now she's gonna exit. You're gonna exit.
So when
But
we
yeah.
talk about heart health, guys, we're talking about learning how to eat. Like they have something called the DASH diet that lowers your salt.
Oh,
So what you have to worry about is your cholesterol numbers, because if your cholesterol's high, it's clogging those arteries that, and that leads to strokes very quickly. So there's two different kinds of cholesterol. There's LDL, which is your lethal. That's how I always remember it. L for lethal. And your
your low's low.
HDL, H is for happy. That's your happy cholesterol.
Eyes
You want to get
high.
the happy cholesterol up and the lethal cholesterol down. So you have to stay away from those. Like people will tell you butter's bad for you. It's not, but it's not bad for you. You actually need those healthy fats, but you have to have healthy fats instead of saturated fats that just they're not doing anything for you. It's like having a bag of potato chips. It's empty calories. It fills you for that second and it satisfies you, but it's empty calories, so you want have something that's healthy. Cut up some vegetables, store them in a way where they stay fresh and they look appetizing, because nobody wants to eat some wilted celery or
Right.
nobody. So, you know, and reach out for help if you need help and you want some ideas. Reach out to Karen or myself. I'm on Facebook, so Heart Fuel is on Facebook. It's a free masterclass. So if you're suffering from heart disease, the masterclass is really how to eat for heart health. And then at the end, I give them a 7-day diet plan that they can try to implement and see, if they can acclimate to it, and that's what that's about. But if you have heart disease, you're looking at kidney issues. You definitely got gut health issues. You're looking at immunity issues, so kidneys, heart, diabetes, all that stuff goes together. It's like a triad of problems. So the earlier you can really get a handle on this, the better off you'll be. So
Right.
start
And don't
anywhere.
ignore any symptoms. Don't ignore any signs. If you're having headaches or chest pain or shortness of breath, don't ignore it. Definitely address it with your doctor. And whatever remedy is needed, please do it. Do not ignore yourself. You have one life to live. You need to live it to the fullest.
And the other issue, if you have heart disease and you have a lot of plaque, a lot of cholesterol buildup, you're at higher risk for clots and things like that. So there's a sure way to tell certain things that are like key indicators that nurses have to know. So like if you're walking 2 blocks and you start getting pains in your legs and it gets worse at 4 blocks, then you're suffering from something called intermittent claudication, and that means you might have a possible clot. One of my neighbors was talking to me and she was telling me her symptoms, and I was like, I think you got a clot, girl. Do you take aspirin? She said, no. I said, you better get on the phone with your doctor or go down and buy some baby aspirin. She said, is it necessary? Like, is this important? I said, you should be in the ER now. I said, based on what you were telling me, because she didn't exercise, she was overweight and everything like that. Then the next thing I know, I'm getting this big hurrah on Facebook because she went to the doctor, she had a clot. And the doctor said, you better thank that girl, you know. But these are signs. You shouldn't be getting pains in your legs like that. If it's painful at rest, if you have your legs in a dependent position for a long period of time, that's going to hurt anybody. Just like if you're on a plane, you know, all that blood is flowing to the extremities, so that's going to hurt. So when you're sitting, try to elevate those legs, you know, unless you have arterial disease, you know, but these are things that really help, you know. And absolutely, if you're getting short of breath, walking 2 or 3 blocks, there's something going on. So get to your provider, reach out to someone and go get checked. Prevention saves lives. So it's one thing to, yeah, it's one thing to, you know, go for that yearly check, but a lot of times what happens is people won't go. If something happens in between that year, they won't go to the doctor. They'll say, oh, I'm due in 6 months, and anything can happen in 6 months. So if you're not feeling right, you know your body better than anybody, get your ass to the doctor. That's my suggestion.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely. And then also stay hydrated, guys. We're in the summertime now. So, you know, the sun is hot. Everyone wants to be outside, but stay hydrated. Walk with your bottles of water. If it's juice, you know, try to mix your juice with water so you can stay hydrated.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the elder people, they're at higher
Risk.
risk. This is what happens after 6 o'clock, right?
Brain freeze. Yep.
So they're at higher risk for heat stroke, but the heat stroke can happen in minutes to anyone. So it's really important to stay hydrated. And when you're outside and you're sweating and you have insensible losses, you're not so keyed into what you're losing every hour. So make sure that you're staying hydrated. Carry anything, sweet tea, anything, you know, and just make sure that you're taking that in, and carry snacks, you know. And if you're a diabetic, you know, make sure you're always carrying snacks, you know. So if something happens, you have something you can give your body that it needs. Okay. So anything else you wanted to add to this falafel of information?
I just want to say, take care of yourselves, guys. You are most important to you, you know, so don't expect anyone else to give you more than you're giving yourself. So eat healthy, get some exercise in there, do something you love every day, and make sure that you like Andra and I's kitchen chats. And let us know if you need help with anything. We're here.
Yes, absolutely, guys. You can always reach out. Karen and I absolutely love what I do. And as nurses, we've been doing this a really long time. And you don't find too many nurses at the end of their career really saying that they love what they do. And we do, you know, we really feel for people in a way that you can't imagine. There's different kinds of nurses. You know, you have A nurses and you have C nurses, you have compassionate nurses and nurse ratchet, you know, so not everybody's in the profession they need to be in, but I think it found us and we're just here to help. So, you know, you could reach out to us with anything, ask questions. If there's something that you're interested in learning more about, please, by all means, put it in the chat and we'll get back to you. Okay.
Yeah, reach out. We love you guys.
All right, you get to the gym. I'm getting back inside. I gotta hop on another call soon. But this has been Kitchen Chats. I'm Andra. This is Karen. Thanks for tuning in. And if you like what you hear here, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Good night, guys.
Bye.